at Los Angeles Trade Tech, and we're doing ingredient distribution for our classes. We also have holidays coming up. We have Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and all that stuff coming up. So we figured we'd do a quick demo on how to make like a really great apple pie. So first we're gonna bring you through the crust, and then we're gonna do the filling, and then we'll talk to you about how to bake it. Try to get everything done in about 10 minutes. So, all right, so we can focus down here on my hands and on here. So what I've done is I actually started to make the Chef Gilligan's Never Fail Flaky Pie dough, right? So it's 7 cups of all-purpose flour. I have 1 egg plus 1 yolk. I have 1 pound of butter, and I chopped it up into little pieces here, and it's cold butter, right? And so I'm gonna go ahead and put that right in the mixer with my paddle attachment. You can actually do this by hand if you don't have a stand-up mixer at home. And then go ahead and turn it on. You want to turn it on kind of slow at first so you don't throw the flour everywhere. And I got some butter clumped up there, that's fine. So slow at first so you don't clump it. 1 pinch, good 3-finger pinch of salt. It's about a half a teaspoon of salt. All right, in there. Okay. And then about 2 tablespoons of sugar. There we go, right there. All right, now I have 6 ounces of very cold water, and I'm gonna mix that with my 1 egg plus 1 yolk here. I'm just gonna mix that together. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and just break the yolks up a little bit. Splashing a little bit, that'll be fine. I have some egg wash set aside. What I wanna do is I wanna mix this up until the butter gets to be kind of small pea-like pieces. Small pea-like pieces. And when that happens, then I can go ahead and add my water and egg mixture. Again, if you don't have the stand-up mixer, you can just do it with your hands. You can just kind of rub it and break up that butter into small little pieces, right? At this point, what I want to do is while it's going about medium speed, I'm going to go ahead and put in my water and egg mixture in a slow, steady stream. All right, that'll enable the hydration of all that flour to come evenly, right? Now, there's different schools of thought on pie doughs, and a lot of these, looks like I'm gonna need a tiny bit more water. Again, it's anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces of water. Anyway, so this one is, like I said, never fail, and one of the reasons why it's never fail is because of the fact that it has that egg in there, okay? So it's a little bit less flaky. You know, some of my students are flaky enough already, so we really don't have to have that flaky dough. No, I'm trying to be funny here. Okay. So anyway, so then what I do is once it's mixed, you stop, all right? In New York, we say, once it's mixed, enough already, enough already. All right. So anyway, so we're gonna bring these out. We're gonna undo this, and we're going to do, okay. So now what I'll do is to literally just dump it out onto a wooden table. If you have a wooden board at home or whatever, just dump it out right onto the table. Whoop, right there, just like that. All right, and now it's gonna be a little dry on the bottom, but a little wet on the top, and that's fine. What you wanna do is just kind of bring it all together, just like this. Bring it all together, just like this, right? I'm gonna grab just a tiny bit more water. I'm gonna just add a tiny bit more water as I go here. Again, some parts are a little bit more moist than others. You're just gonna kind of work it. Now this will be enough for like 3 large pies. So you can actually take the recipe and cut it down. I actually leave it at that size because you can actually take the dough and put it in your freezer, and it'll stay in your freezer for like 6 months. So then somebody comes over, you can make them a quick pie or tart. Again, you could use this dough to make empanadas. You can use this dough to make lots of different things, you know. We've actually used it in my class to make cornucopias and like dead dough projects and things like that. So all of that, this can be used for many, many different things. So again, just like that. Just keep working the dry stuff into the wet stuff, and all right, just like that. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, right? We're gonna break it up into small pieces. And as I break it up into small pieces, I'm going to just knead it and flatten it out. Knead it, flatten it out like this. Once I get them into like a disc like this, I want to wrap these up in plastic wrap. So come over here. So, see how I have them wrapped up in plastic wrap like this? So you can see now I already have, through the magic of television, you want to make this, put this in the refrigerator and let it rest for about an hour or so. So through the magic of television, I already have a couple already done already. So this will take a lot of time. It's kind of redundant. So let me just, what we'll do is we'll finish this up in a little while. I'll move this out of the way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove my mixer and I'm going to show you how to do the apple pie. So we're going to move over here. So you want to move that one. We're going to move that one over to this way. That one. All right. So now what I have is I have the apples. So what I've done is I peeled the apples, I poured them, all right, and what I'm gonna do is just chop them up like this. So cut them in half, each quarter in half, and then chop them up just in small pieces. Now, with regards to the apples, you wanna do about 4 cups for each pie. So this is a 4-cup dry measuring container, right? You can keep these, right? So I got about 4 cups here. Just gonna put these into a bowl. This will be enough for 1 pie. All right, then I'm gonna do about 1/3 a cup of sugar. Seems like a lot of sugar. You make it a pie, so it's kind of sweet, right? Then you got about a tablespoon of cinnamon in there. And you got about a teaspoon of allspice. You got enough for more than one. And then I'm gonna do some cornstarch, right? I have about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch going in there. So, all right. And then, all right, so, and then a pinch of salt. And the salt will draw the moisture out of the apples. Now, with regards to the apples, you just mix them. So with regards to the apples, you can use different types of apples. I like to use mealy apples, and then also I'll mix in some tart apples and some sweet apples, some McIntosh or some Granny Smith, or you could do some Fuji apples if you want to make like an exotic pie or whatever. And the different types of apples that are mixed together in there, some of them will kind of melt down a little bit and be a little softer, while some of them will maintain their crunchiness while it's baked. So anyway, so now I have my apple pie mixture. How easy was that? Was that unbelievably easy or what? So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, set this over to the side, clear up my space here. All right. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the dough and I'm going to pull this stuff out of the way. And stay clean, neat, and organized while you're working, right? So I have my apple pie. I want to get my pie pan here. So I have my apple pie dough. Again, this has been resting about an hour in the refrigerator, right? So kind of cold still. All right. You take a tiny bit of flour for like bench flour here. Just spread that on the table. I had one of my students call me one time. She said, "Chef, I went to 3 stores. I can't find bench flour anywhere. Where do you buy bench flour?" So I thought that was kind of funny, but anyway, so bench flour is any flour you pour onto the bench, right? Okay, so then center, out, turn. Everybody say that. Center, out, turn. Center, out, turn. Center, out, turn. And you just keep going center, out, turn until, and the reason why you're doing center, out, turn is because you want to maintain a nice round shape on this, all right? Maintain a nice round shape. And you're gonna press pretty hard, right? Again, this has been in the refrigerator for about an hour, so the butter in there really just came back to its original state, you know? You want to get it to be less than a 1/16 of an inch thick to really make a nice pie, right? You'll center out until, all right, until you got it super thin. Okay, and now I want to make sure that I have it large enough to fit onto into my pie pan. A little bit larger. So these doughs, again, a nice flaky pie dough would not contain butter. These have a tiny bit of a chew to them. I kind of like that texture, but also because of the fact that I was a hotel chef for a lot of years, and this was actually really good for banquet pies, you know, pies that you'd cut up and distribute for, you know, 1,200 people. And in that case, you wanted to make sure that the pie was kind of durable. Otherwise, the back would fall off the pie. Anybody ever see that where the pie's back falls off? So this one doesn't happen, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is you can actually, if it's difficult to lift up your pastry dough, you can actually just kind of roll it over the top of your, right? And then just unroll it. All right, and then what you wanna do is, you don't wanna push down with your hands, you kind of wanna ease it in. Everybody say that, ease it in. Ease it in. So ease it into the center. All right, just like that. All right, at this point, what you can do is you can trim it and make dock it, and then put some beans, and then you can actually put this into the oven, and what we call blind baking, right? Blind baking. You put the blindfold on and then you walk to the oven. No, I'm just kidding. No, the blind baking is when you bake the pie shell first. For an apple pie, you don't need to do that, right? So apple pie, the crust will bake in the oven with the rest of the pie. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just put my apples. See how it starts to draw a little bit of moisture out because of that salt and a little bit of sugar and everything in there? I wanna be a nice high pie, right? So it seems like a lot in there, but it's a really, really good pie, right? Even a couple more even, right? In there. Okay, so you have a nice high pie. What I'm gonna do now